Good morning, students. Today we will be doing the chapter materials, metals and non-metals. This chapter is there in standard 8, chapter number 4 from the science subject. Now today, as you all know, metals and non-metals is a chapter in detail we are going to study. So when we talk about metals and non-metals, you should understand how these metals and non-metals have arisen. Now, materials, as you all know, materials or substance can be broadly classified into two: natural materials or man-made materials. Natural materials are the materials which are there obtained from the nature itself, and man-made materials, that is artificially made by man or artificial materials. Now, under natural materials, we have metals and non-metals come under that category. Now, as you all know, metals and non-metals will be studied in detail in our session out here. So here we are going to start a basic introduction of metals and non-metals. Now, regarding the basic introduction of metals and non-metals, the first property we are going to study about is physical properties. Under physical properties, we will be dealing with physical properties like hardness. We will be dealing with these physical properties like hardness. So metals, basically, when we talk about metals are hard. Okay, there are, apart from hardness, there are some metals which are soft also. There are some exceptions. There are some exceptions like sodium and potassium. They are soft metals. Okay, same way we have some more properties about physical property which will be dealing out here. Sonorous, sound producing. Sonorous. As the name suggests, sonorous means sound producing. You might have seen certain objects which are which produces sound. Metals. You might have seen the temples, the bell which is there in temple or the school bell. They all are made of metals. So in fact, they are all sound producing. They produce sound. Metals really they produce sound out there. Now apart from that, we should be knowing that metals are malleable. Malleable. That means if we are going to hammer the metals, we can draw the metal into thin sheets out there. Malleability, the property of metals, that is the beating the metals and converting them into sheets, that is called as malleable. All metals are malleable. Apart from that, ductility. Ductility is the property of metals to be drawn into thin wires. So we can draw them into thin wires. Okay, so metals can be drawn into thin wires. Apart from that, we will be studying about the appearance. We will be studying about the appearance out there. Now, some of the metals are lustrous. They are basically they shine a lot. Gold, silver, and all they are lustrous substances. But there are some which are also dull too. So all metals are, when we talk about appearance, we talk about lustrous. We talk about lustrous property. That means they shine. Okay, they have a shiny appearance. Yeah, the next property, as I said earlier, is about the appearance. Metals, they are lustrous. They always shine. Okay. In fact, we can see some metals which are shiny. Like gold is there. Gold, silver, and platinum. They are shiny metals out there. But there are some dull metals also. But basically, all metals are having lusters. They are shiny in nature. Same way about conduction of metals. All metals are a good conductor of electricity. Metals are good conductor of electricity because you can see they have free electrons to move around. That's why they are good conductors. The best conductor is of metal out here. Best conductor out we can say is we can see all kitchen utensils are being made up of metal. Okay, so in fact they are able to conduct heat. Similarly, about the conduction of electricity, metals are good conductors of electricity. Example, we have copper, okay, silver. Copper and silver, they are best conductors of electricity. Now, metals, they exist in various forms out there. The various states of matter in which the metal exists is In fact, all metals they exist in solid state. Especially there is some exception out also. Like mercury is a metal which is liquid in nature, liquid metal. Okay, you might have heard about mercury. It is used in thermometers. Okay, mercury is used in thermometer. Apart from that, metals they have a very high melting and boiling point. Okay, they have very high melting point. Exception is that there is a metal called gallium. There is a metal called gallium. Okay, which can melt when you keep it in your palm itself. Okay, when you keep it, it starts melting out. So all metals are having a high melting point, boiling point, but there are some exceptions. As I said earlier, gallium is one of the exception out there. So based on this all properties, okay, we need to study about metals and non-metals, the physical properties of metals and non-metals, and in what way they are going to help us in understanding the elements in a better way. Now, there are some examples of metals and non-metals too, like iron, copper, aluminium, etc. They all are examples of metals. Similarly, we have some non-metals too, like sulfur, okay, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen, etc. So, what all properties we have studied about metal that may not be applicable for non-metal? Like when you talk about the first case about the appearance out there. Okay. Now here, if you talk about appearance in case of metals they all have lustrous. They always shine. But in case of non-metals, they have a dull appearance. We can compare. We can contrastingly we can compare it up. Same in metals, they have a very high. They are good conductors of electricity. Whereas in case of non-metal, they are bad conductors or poor conductors of electricity. Similarly, we have about conduction of electricity. We talk about all metals are good conductor of electricity, but regarding non-metals, they are very poor conductors or very bad conductors of electricity. Same way, when we talk about high melting point, boiling point, in case of metals they do have high melting point, boiling point. But if you talk about non-metals, they don't have a high melting point or boiling point. Similarly, regarding malleability, we discussed earlier about the property of malleability. The property of malleability is a property of metal. When it has been hammered with a hammer, we can draw them into sheets. But in case of non-metals are non-malleable. Okay, they cannot be beaten and drawn into sheets. Okay, they are the property of malleability is not applicable for non-metals. So non-metals are non-malleable. Same way about ductility, the property as I said earlier, the metals which can be drawn into the metals, as you all know, metals can be beaten and drawn into wires. But in case of non-metals, this property or this property of drawing into wire is not applicable. That is why non-metals are non-ductile. Okay. Similarly, apart from that, all the metals produces sound. But in case of non-metals, they cannot produce sound. They are non-malleable. Okay, or not sonorous. They cannot produce sound. Okay. Now already we have discussed about the basic properties related to metals and non-metals. We discussed in the previous part about the physical properties of metals and the comparison with that of non-metals. Now here what we are going to do is we are going to conduct an activity out there. Okay, in the activity in the sense about the appearance, okay, and the hardness. Two of the physical properties we are dealing out here. As you can see out there, we have made it and categorized as objects, appearance and hardness. So we have some of the elements like iron, coal, sulfur, aluminium and copper. These are the elements which we have taken up there. Now regarding iron, the iron, if you observe iron, it has an appearance of dull appearance out there. That means it is dull in nature. The iron, the appearance is dull. Okay. In case of iron, it is very hard. So we are used out cross and tick to represent the part. So in case of appearance, we have for shining we are putting tick, and for dull we are putting cross. Same way for hardness, very hard ticked and not very hard is crossed out. Same way, if you take the elements like coal, the coal is a form of carbon. Okay, so it is a non-metal. So non-metal coal will be having. We all might have seen charcoal and all that. They are basically dull. They don't have shiny appearance. It's very dull out there. So that is why it is dull in nature. That is, the coal is dull in nature. Regarding hardness, if I use a hammer and try to break it up, it will be broken into many pieces. That is why it is not very hard. It is very brittle. We can break it very easily. We can this property of breaking of this part of the case of chalk, that is what? Brittleness. Okay, so it is brittle out there. Same way, when we talk about sulfur, sulfur again it's a non-metal. Now you can see sulfur is there in a lot of ingredients like eggs. Inside the yellow part is in fact the sulfur part, or apart from the elements naturally also it is existing it out. So sulfur again the appearance is a dull appearance out there, and it is not very hard. Similarly regarding aluminium, you might have seen at your home the kitchen utensils which are using it out. They are made up of aluminium. Okay. Same way the food which has been packed up, and we are nowadays since we all know we don't get anything in plastic. We carry everything in a container or in aluminium containers. So definitely aluminium is a shiny appearance. It has a shiny appearance. So that's why we are putting up take here. Same way regarding hardness, aluminium is very hard. Okay, it doesn't break very easily, so it is hard out there. Similarly, we talk about copper. Copper, you all know. At your home, we are using electric wires. The copper, as I said, is a very good conductor of electricity. Similarly, the appearance wise is very shiny out there. Okay, when you purchase the copper wires, okay, from market, it is definitely going to shine out a lot. Later on, it may become dull. It may react with the air or water and all. It may become dull. But otherwise, when you purchase it up from the market, it is definitely having an appearance, very shiny appearance out there. Similarly, hard we can use. That's why we are using it out in electrical wirings, cables, and all that. We are using copper. It is really hard. Okay, it is very hard. We will just go for the next activity. Okay, where we will be discussing about the properties of metals and non-metal in detail. So you should understand now. Here, the iron, it's a metal. It's a metal. Okay, same way aluminium is a metal. Copper, it's a metal. So this coal and sulfur, it's a non-metal. So what all properties we discussed today just now regarding the physical properties, so we can compare from this. Basically all metals have a shiny appearance. All metals have shiny appearance, except one or two. There may be some exceptions out there. Similarly, metals are hard. The metals have shiny appearance. They have lustrous. They have a lot of lusters. The example I told you about earlier about gold and silver, they are lustrous. They are metals. They are lustrous in nature. Same way, when we talk about hardness, all metals are hard in nature. Regarding non-metals, these two properties doesn't hold good. They are dull, they are soft. Okay, but in case of metal also, there are some metals which are soft too, like iron, like sodium and potassium. Okay, as I said, sodium and potassium, they are very reactive elements and they are very soft elements. We can cut sodium and potassium with the help of knife. So they are very soft. Regarding all the other cases of all metals, they are basically hard and they have a shiny appearance. Exception regarding hardness, okay, as I said, is only regarding sodium and potassium, which is a soft metal. Okay. See, we are going to do one more activity to see whether the substance is malleable or ductile. As I said earlier, regarding malleability, all metals are malleable in nature. Okay, all metals, in fact, we can just beat them and draw into sheets out there. So what we need to do is we will be taking in this activity we will be taking a hammer, okay, and some of the elements and objects will be taken like iron nail, gold pieces, aluminium wire, okay, and the pencil lead. And what we are going to do is we are going to hammer all these things, okay, this material with a hammer. We are going to beat them. So what is actually going to happen after that? It may change its shape, and in that way we can study about the properties. So what changes? Changes in shape. Now what are the inference or conclusion which we have drawn out here is it flattens or breaks into pieces. Okay, two options or two criteria on shapes. It can flatten. So if I take iron nail and if I am going to hammer them with the hammer out there, what will happen? It will become flat. So definitely it will get flattened out here. So this will get flattened. The iron nail will get flattened up. That means it is malleable. That means we are going to hammer them and beat them and draw into a thin sheet out there. We can do it. Same way in case of gold pieces. If we make gold pieces and we are going to hammer them, what happens? It will break. Okay, it will break into pieces. It will break into pieces. Similarly, in case of aluminium, what may happen out here is that again, if you're going to take aluminium wire and going to draw and beat them with hammer, it will get again flattened up. So this is an activity to which we can study a substance which is getting flattened or not, that we can study. Okay, same pencil lead. Pencil lead you all know, which you are using at your home. This pencil contains a form of a non-metal called graphite. Graphite is a form of carbon. It's an allotrope of carbon. So what happens if you're going to use the pencil? If you're going to take pencil lead and if you're going to hammer, then what happens? They will break into pieces. So with this activity, what we can conclude out here is that we are going to conclude as that some of the properties of metal we can verify it up. Okay, metals and non-metals we can verify it up, and we can say that all metals are malleable. That means if you are going to beat with hammer, we can break them and hammer it up. Okay. Similarly about non-metals will break into pieces. So all metals are malleable. Okay, all non-metals are non-malleable. That means we cannot do with case of non-metals, this property will not hold good. Okay. With this, I hope that students you can you have understood the properties of metals and non-metals and two of the activity which we have done. So hope we will be see you again in next session. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.